Hello students, good morning all of you. I Ravindra Mohan Mishra from Sri Jagdamba Sanskrit College Batho am taking the class of Shastri II. In this day we are reading explanation from the drama The Merchant of Venice. We have seen many explanation from Act first, scene 1, 2 and 3 and Act 2, scene 1, 2, 3, 4. Now today we see the explanation from Act 5, scene 5 of Act 2. Today's first paragraph is: what are there must hear you me, Jessica? Look up my door, and when you hear the drum and the wild squealing of the weary-necked fife, clamber not you up to the casement then, nor thrust your head into the public street. These lines have been taken from the play The Merchant of Venice. These lines are written by William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a great dramatist. He was certainly one of the most successful writers of his time. These lines have been taken from Act 2 of Scene 5 from the play The Merchant of Venice. In this line, Shylock is disgusted when he hears about the musks. He turns to Jessica. Jessica should lock up the door. Jessica should do so to prevent the noise made during the musks enter Shylock's sober house. In these above lines, the person who bids the doors be locked is Shylock, and he is issuing an order to his daughter Jessica based on the information that has just been supplied to him by Lancelot. Lancelot has just informed him that there is due to be a mass that night, a festival of revelry and drunken behavior involving loud noise, music, and costumes on the street of Venice. It is a response to that the Shylock commands Jessica because he is worried about his horse. He fears some ill fortune which will fall on him as he had dreamed of money bags the previous night. Here, Shylock repeats the news about there being mass that evening and then turns to address his daughter with a specific advice. The doors need to be locked in order to shut out the wild squealing and the sound of music and revelry that would accompany these masks. The order that Silo gives shows that he wishes to keep his daughter away from any such exposure to the antics of these Christians fool, and just like his money, he wants to keep her locked up and safe from Christian influences that he is so opposed to. Here we see a signal of cultural clash between Christians and Jews, as it does an protective father who will stop at nothing to keep his daughter safe and sound from any dangerous influences. He is imperious in his use of the imperative when he firmly tells Jessica that she must not go up to the window and look out in case she sees the mask and is also seen herself. This speech reinforces earlier impressions that have already been created of a man who is so serious and jealous that Shylock insists everybody in his house shares his somewhat bleak and desolate existence. A small wonder, therefore, that Lancelot has already left his employment and Jessica, his daughter, is very desperate. In short, we conclude that these lines teaches us that we should have the sense of brotherhoodness. Hello students. Now we come for the second paragraph. The patch is kind enough, but a huge feeder, snail slow in profit, and he sleeps by day more than the wild cat. Drones heave not with me, therefore I part with him and part with him to one that would have him help to waste his borrowed purse. Well, Jessica, go in her. Perhaps I will return immediately. Do as I bid you. Shut doors after you. Fast find a proverb. Never still in thrifty mind. These lines have been taken from the play The Merchant of Venice. These lines are written by William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a great dramatist. He was certainly one of the most successful writers of his time. These lines have been taken from Act 2, Scene 5 of the play The Merchant of Venice. In these lines, Shakespeare remarks about the Jewish moneylender Shylock. Shylock says to his insolent daughter Jessica that fast bind then fast find. He is instructing her to secure herself within their home lest she fall victim to the temptation of the outside world, namely the romantic attentions of Lorenzo. Shylock's point is that a daughter locked up is a daughter that will be there when he returns from his errand. In these above lines, Shylock is saying that Lancelot, who is now in the service of Shylock's enemy, is an amiable individual but is lazy and eats too much. The character of Shylock is an angry, bitter man who has endured a lifetime of anti Semitic abuse at the hands of those he encounters, especially those who would come to him for a loan in times of need. His bitterness has been reflected in the observations he makes in the presence of his resentful daughter Jessica, who has long grown tired of living under her father's strict structure and seeks an escape to a better life, an escape that will eventually involve the close friend of the man, one whose behalf the loan at the heart of the story has been made Bessenio. In the meantime, Shylock's Lancelot, who Shylock is about to fire and will next appear in the employ of Bassanio. Shakespeare's brilliance as an author cannot conceal the fact that one of his most famous and enduring characters is representative of the most pernicious of racial profiling. Shylock is a human being. The The stereotype of greedy, shifty moneylender found its most enduring personification in the character of Shylock, whose every name became synonyms with usury. Shakespeare's portrait of this tragic figure has been criticized for its anti Semitic tone. Shylock will be relieved of his duty as an employee of the moneylender. Unaware of the extent of his daughter's discontent, Shylock is aware of and unprepared for Jessica's immediate elopement with Lorenzo. Patch refers to Lancelot. Sherlock is convinced that Lancelot's tendency to waste money will forthwith come at Bassanio's expense instead of his own. The phrase fast man, fast find uttered in the context of Shylock's bidding his daughter good night simply means that Jessica, as soon as her father exists, states a farewell. He is declaring her independence from her father and her intent to leave his home for good. Shylock is about to lose his daughter to one of the hated Gentiles, and his business with Antonio will be undermined by the subterfuge of Portia and others who have conspired to ensure his arrangement with Antonio is not carried out and that he will remain an isolated, defeated figure. In short, we conclude that this line teaches us we should have the sense of brotherhood